Well, there's some good news and some bad news. Well, it's the fourth round, and the Hawks have 0 picks. But they could potentially get something if the Panthers decide to use a specific rule. That's unlikely. What's up, guys? Alexander Thomas here. Welcome back to Gaming Time 123 for the NBL. This is Draft Round 4. There's a few different things about Round 4 that were not normally put into the other 3 rounds. So, potentially, there is a possibility in the 5th round that if the very last pick, or one of the very last 2 picks, the team that has the very last pick can basically get any player they want from anywhere. And if they do that, then the team who has the least number of picks and or the worst draft, in this case this is the least number of picks because the Hawks is the least number of picks, then we'll have to see what happens with the Panthers. Officially, there's not a clock on this one, but it will still be running, so you'll see how much time here they have. So they will still have a pending amount of time. We'll see what they get from here. And let me get the on the clock thing up here. The potentiality is that it's going to be hard to say because here's the thing: there's only 40 players left in the draft. In normal NFL basis, there's I don't know how many players. There's plenty. Let's put it that way. Just to make it basics. But in the NBL draft, it's required that every player, with the exception of the last pick, gets drafted. And the last player gets drafted by a team anyways. And it will be depending on that team. Now, that team could be anything. It could be picked with anything here. So it's up to that team, which I believe Panthers had the last pick because they have the third pick, to change their pick if they want to. Consequently, I hope that's the right word, the Panthers also have 2 picks this round. The Hawks have 0. So the Hawks will get the additional thing if the Panthers don't, and they can still sign players and all that. It just comes down to... Is there everyone online? You guys good? Good? Okay. Alright, so... Just to make sure I have the... I know what picks is going on here. Alright, so the first pick in this round is going to be the Legends. And the call can start as soon as I found them. So the Chargers are now on the clock. Officially, they won't need as much time for this one because there's only 40 players left. It should not be that difficult for the Legends to decide what player they're going to go with. Legends, when they previously put their 10 players in to they put the 10 players in originally. They still have 4 of the players left to possibly draft. And they, assuming she has not been selected, have selected Sarah Rogers, which has not been selected. That is the last pick the Legends will have because there's no trades after 1 week portion. Originally, this was supposed to happen all like in 3 nights. Unfortunately, we had some complications and we couldn't do it yet. So that she has been selected. Clock will reset. And let me see here. The Foxes are now on the clock. Foxes again are a new team, so it is. It would make sense to me that they should go for the highest rated player that's left and remaining. Foxes originally. Oh, and one thing, friends, the season starts for anyone that has not. If you have not taken a team and you want to take a team, the season starts 2 weeks from Saturday. I think I have it correct. Yeah. So February 4th is the official start date for the NBL season. 16 weeks. From Saturday. So 16 weeks from that Saturday. And most of the teams also have been able to look at the players, so hopefully we won't have a problem. We don't have as much of a problem, anyways. I think he is already taken. Already taken, so that's not possible. He is 98. Yeah, he was 9 overall. There's no way. They're going with if she hasn't been taken. Yep, Alicia Foxes will have chosen someone who was not totally supposed to be drafted, anyways. 82 overall, so a decent player for the last pick, for the last round. And also, the Foxes are I think are going to be one of those teams that potentially has a very good chance of at least making the playoffs. Maybe not the division, but at least making the playoffs. Let's see. It is the Kings who are on the clock. Kings' original last pick, I believe Kings have actually run out of players they could have actually tried to get from their original pick. Kings, they've got 4 players left that supposedly have not been picked, and they are looking at selecting Leanne Turner. Is it Leanne Turner? Leigh Turner. It's a decent player for the team, and she's still a pretty high-rated player. So the fact that she went in the 4th round is very surprising to me. They did not need to take nearly as long. As I said, a lot of these teams are going to go a lot quicker. Because there's just no need for it. We have the Bears who are on the clock. Stop it. It'd be interesting to see what the Bears go with here because, not having a bad team doesn't mean much when I don't think they have any people they had left. If I'm correct. I might be wrong about that, but Bears had 3 players left, but I think they were all taken in the 3rd round. Going with here. Nope, she was already taken. Bad news is also Phileas Norman was taken, so Alexis Hayes is the last player they've got. I think she's already been taken too. Yep, she has. So basically, they've got nobody else they would like to get. I believe the Panthers got her, by the way. So it'll be probably up to one of the players that they. And it looks like they're going to go with Tommy Fields. So he wasn't selected. Tommy Fields was not selected, and there's an 81. So, decent player. Surprisingly, he went in the last round, which is also, he was kind of on the border. Between teams that were he was kind of on the border. Let's see. 24. Is that 124 or 123? Okay, it's 129. 124. What that was 124. Leland Cats are now on the clock. Their symbol's actually symboled as the cats, just the cats. So, cats. I wish I could stop doing that. Cats. Let's see. The Cats currently looking at their possible. It's the Cats. I think 2 players they could be going with that I believe have not been taken. We're not taken. They're not going with either one of them. It looks like. So let's see. Nope, these are been taken anyways. They went with neither one of them. In fact, they went. Tommy Fields is stuck with the Bears. With Betty Ford. With the assumption that that person has not been taken. Betty Ford has not been taken. Interesting player to go with here. Not particularly an offensive player that we. Well, 81 still pretty good. We shall see. Let's see here. The Lynx are now on the clock. Also a cat team. So, who knows? The Lynx supposedly, with assumption, have 3 players they have. They're going to go with, if she hasn't been taken, Kathleen Copeland. Both have been taken, so it won't matter. Next player is. They are going with Ruby Jackson, not a player on the. They went for it. They had gone for it vaguely. As long as Ruby Jackson has not been in, and Ruby Jackson has not been selected, Ruby Jackson will be selected by the Lynx. Interesting for them to go with that. So it was not one of the players they originally went with. But still a very good pick for them to go with. Since it's the last round and everyone gets selected anyways. Panthers is the only one that might have a chance that's not be selecting anyone. So, unfortunately, who's the next pick? Warriors are now on the clock. So, unfortunately, it looks to appear the Warriors are one of those teams that kind of are probably going to struggle this year, even with good picks, they'll still probably struggle. Looks like they're trying to go with Mark West. Mark West. Mark West has already been selected. Not possible. Next one, Monica Peters. Spelled wrong. Monica Peters has not been selected, and they will take her as part of the Warriors. Interesting pick. Me 82 overall was still pretty good to be even for the last round. Even be selected in the last round. 82 is still very good. I think the lowest that could be selected in the last round is 80. So that's left. According to my calculations here, there is an 85 person still available. There's an 88. That's not an 88. There's no chance. But very good pick for them. The Stars are now on the clock. Don't know what to tell you there, Stars. They're trying to go with Zach Forster. I think Zach Forster's already. Yeah, Zach Foster's already been selected. I said Forster. It's not Forster. It's Foster. And they will go with Jordan Strange as the Stars' final pick. Is Jordan Strange. They will be going with. There's only a few players left here. It took less than a minute to do their pick. And the Panthers, I can just get rid of this at this point because there's no point. This is average, but the problem is that's going to be a D as well. Or a 0. Because it doesn't matter because they're all gone. Panthers have 129 left. But that doesn't mean anything. The Panthers are now on the clock. And Panthers, as I said, have one of the weirdest things. They can, in their last pick, follow the rule about limiting, basically giving the Hawks a pick. Giving the Hawks a pick, they were going to get any player they want. It will be decided. It will be, hopefully will be decided in. Let's go tweet that. Actually, I might as well just delete all these because there's just no point. They all have. I don't know what the Panthers are going to go with here because the Panthers normally are run by me. Panthers originally were going to go with Linda. I think they so Linda. Is it Linda? I think Linda A is that person's already been selected. No, that person is actually available. Wow. An 89 overall player drafted in the last round. Boy, the Panthers are not going to be good this year. And my prediction was they go, I think, was it 13-5? We'll have that in a different video, but that's that's ridiculous to even think that they had a chance to go to get a pick of that high standards. They have one pick left, by the way. That's the last pick. They are going to have time to think about it. It's going to be the Falcons that are on the clock. Falcons' last pick prior to this, before the picks were determining. Let's see. They had actually a lot of players, but I think a lot of the players are actually not available. You're not telling me they are going to see if this person's available. They will have probably the best pick in the final round. Gin EV. No, that person unfortunately is already been selected. I think all of them have been. They want me to check them anyways. Okay. Alyssa has been selected. I know that. Scott has been selected. Peter. Peter Brown A has already been selected. They want me to do it anyways. Morgan is selected. I don't know what they're going to go with here because, there's still some decent players left. Terrace Angel is what the question is what they need. Okay. Surprising pick. Turns out the Falcons were right below, did that. Just checking to see. I don't see Lovey on here, but she was selected. I'm sure someone picked her. I just don't see it on. I don't see her on here. No, I don't see her. That's a steal. That's an 84 overall player. So still a decent player as of going on to right now. That they're finalized. The next pick is pick 130, and that is Falcons. Then we have the Indians right after that. I feel like the Indians are probably going to have to change their name at some point. because a lot of people don't like the Indians' name. I'm pretty sure a lot of these players are already taken. They want to go down the list anyways. Okay, S. Sandra Moody is selected. They're really picking it. Cherry Wilton has already been selected. Pearl Underwood is what they're going to go with. A decent pick, but she's honestly not the greatest pick. She was actually surprising being one of the last 3 picks in the draft, supposedly. But perhaps since they don't have anything else, like, yeah, well, might as well go on and do it, because why not? The Indians will take that. And that is the last. That is it. It is now the Pirates' turn. Pirates are now on the clock. Yeah. I don't know. It will be interesting. I was half worried there that I forgot to turn the microphone on. And that would be sad, wouldn't it? Oh god, we did this. Everything for we would probably just have them. We would just probably show it. We just wouldn't have a shorter film. Just to check, MARL? No, that's the other one. That is it. Someone asked me from the first round that whether was the reason that I was doing this. The kind of reason for doing it this way is because in the previous times when I didn't have this live, I didn't even have a draft, I don't think. It was all messed up. So the mess up was just Angels are on the clock. It was all messed up because I just messed up on a bunch of different picks. So I had to figure out certain things and figure out who was who. We ended up figuring it out, but took, I think, probably, 2 weeks into the season to figure it out? Something like that, yeah. I don't think the Angels have anybody. No, they got 3 people. Danny. They're going to try with Danny. Unfortunately for them, he's already been taken. Felix is their next try. Felix has already been taken. Yeah, I think Phillips also been. They're going to go with Phillips if he hasn't been taken. It's Tasha. Tosh Phillips is also been taken, so there's them to go with whatever they can find. They want me to put. Really? So what they've said. They want me to go with the first person. And they've done that. It's the Angels. Just checking to make sure. Downtime was been picked for the Panthers, but he did not get picked. So that is, in fact, their pick. It's a decent player, I think. Honestly, 83 overall was probably the highest player pick they could have had. The Athens are next, right? Dolphins are next on the, are now on the clock. Okay, they're going with Renda Johnson. 83 overall is another player that's also 83. For the Dolphins. Okay. Took them 45 seconds. Is the Colts are now on the clock. They're going with Phyllis Hansen. He has not been selected, so Colts get Phyllis Hansen. Not bad, 81 overall player. Chargers are now on the clock. They're right next to each other. Shouldn't be too hard. There's so many players left, so Grimwood's been selected. I know he has. Was that you guys? Yeah, Graham Hoban was selected already. But there's two Graham Hobans. Oh, there's two of them. That's why. Graham Hoban was actually there's actually two. Was he in the 76? Oh, he's the. That's why. I. They're selecting him. He's at Grand Women the second. He's actually older, by the way, but only by like a year and a half. So they will be selected by the Chargers. We really need to, in next year's draft, make sure we have these already set up for if we do a draft. I don't know if we're doing it live, but they did. That's that. Well, UNC is now on the clock. Doubtful that UNC will take very long. There's still, let's see, 22 more picks, so UNC will select Claire Griffin. Doubt that he's going to take very long. So, do we even have to? Do we have to have the clock? It didn't even start, so. Next, it's the Lightning are on the clock. I guess I have to go find the thing still, but they're not gonna take that long. It shouldn't take that long. There's only so many left. They're going with Barbara. Jets are going to be now on the clock. I said they shouldn't need to take but so long. They're going with Christopher Owens. The Jets will. Good player, good pick for them, and that's be interesting. At this point, everyone's pretty much got what they need, so it doesn't really. I don't think it really matters. Dragons are now on the clock. They're going with Terrence Andrews. Trying to do that. Next on the Bulldogs are now on the clock. Maddie Wilson? Probably not the one I would have thought they would have gone with, but because Maddie Wilson was predicted to be last, by the way. Maddie Wilson was predicted to be last in the draft. Second to last was Julian Klein, so 68 overall. Really? I know, it's weird. Like, there's not really any point to have the clock anymore. The dogs are now on the clock. Dogs go with Tammy Griffin. was less than 20 seconds. Westville is now on the clock. Still plenty of players left. They're going with Bessie Borgen. Sounds like a horse, actually. Does that sound like a horse? Kind of. That does sound like. Honestly, that sounds like a horse to me. Techs are now on the clock. They're going with Antonia, female. It's not tech. It's Tex, not Tex. Sounds very similar, but still. The Browns are now on the clock. Go back, I'll whip your... I don't even need to bother putting it because they already selected before I was even say anything. Marie McDonald. That is the Browns pick. And I'm not even going to bother putting the timer on because the Werewolves also made their pick. They go with Christian, which is an 88 overall player. My goodness, how on earth did this person not get selected earlier in the draft? Let's see. The Knights are now on the clock. They literally just told me, we're not that fast. What's some players left? They've gone with Maggie Cook. We're not that fast. We're gonna take a few seconds to look at all of our options. Saints are now on the clock. Wait a minute, Saints are going to wait. Think Saints are going to do the full 5 minutes? Yeah, I don't think it's likely either. They really don't need to take that long. Maybe. They're going to go with Donald Washington, probably predicted to be the last 5 picks. And look at that, he's a little bit higher than that. He got a little bit of lucky, I guess. Ravens are now on the clock. We'll pick 150. Only a few picks left. In fact, all of the last, except for one person, all of the last from 121 to 160 are all taken. So they've gone with Becca, I've they have actually repronounced his name because this how they pronounce his name because it does look wrong. It's is it Ogok. Ogok. It's Odok. The C is silent. Thank God it is. The Supermen are now on the clock. Can't find the Superman. I got the most plain symbol. There's only Chris Jones was taken, right? Yeah, Chris Jones was taken according to what I have here. Yeah, one of the last cool picks, but there's 8, so we gotta check each one of them. Because one of these two teams should, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's the Dogs. Yeah, it's the Dogs. Because they would have had 5 picks. And they have only 4. Because one was taken, so they had to have done the Dogs. Who was on top right now? Superman? They are taking Cooper Reed. It's the Superman, not Superman. Superman is a single person. Tigers are now on the clock. Doubt they'll take very long. And yes, they did not take long at all. They took Alexis, which I think the Panthers were probably planning to do in the last round if she wasn't taken. But yeah, Tigers did take her. The Cardinals are now on the clock. They're taking Tony Stevens. I think that's a good pick for them since he does have a high stealing. And the Cardinals have struggled in the last 2 years since they got rid of Alexander Thomas Jr. They have struggled since then. And he will be a Tony, which is a female, will be a good pick for them. The Otters are now on the clock. With the cutest symbol. They will go with Gene Farber. A lot of these players these teams are going like, we're running out of peak picks, so we'll pick this person if they're still available. And it comes down to the Bobcats. Do they really need that long? Probably not. And they've already told me their picks. So what's the point of me actually looking for? Bobcats on here. They went with George. That's the Bobcats. Ron Pierce is going to be taken right after that, by the way, for the next team. The Ethan. It is Ethan, not Athens. It's Ethan. Although it's spelled as Ethan on the thing here. It's Ethan. It's a term for the gods. Although there are symbols in owl. Yeah. It's Ethan. Not Athens. Ethan. Term for having a god. I mean, it gets singular. Beagles are now on the clock, if we have reason for it. There's only 3 picks left in the draft. They're going to go ahead and take Mel Carlson. There's no requirement for the last 3 rounds, last 3 picks to have it. To have the answer, I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss the clock because there's really no reason for it. The Giants are now. I will put the Giants on the clock, but the Giants are now on the clock. And Giants. Okay, Ron Pearson was taken. I know he was. Or Blitted G was. One of those players was. There's only 3 players. We still messed up. We have 3 players left. We still messed up. The Lions are now on the clock, and they went with Ron Pearson. If that person has not been selected, or Ronald Pearson, if that person has not already been selected. And my question is, has he? No, Ronald Pearson has not been selected. Wow. And that was the Lions. It means Panthers will have their option between 2 players because one of these players has been selected. The other one has not. Panthers have the final pick. Now the question is, what happened? It's either a think it's it. Let me find here. Look. No, Linda Garcia. According to my opinion, Linda Garcia was not selected. Is 78? Yeah, Linda Garcia was not selected according to this. Of course, near was Julia Klein. Was Julia Klein selected then? Because that's the only other player I've got left. According to this, Julia Klein was not selected either. Oh, no, Julia Klein was selected. Selected by the Knights. Okay. Selected really weirdly. I have him already selected by the Knights. That's weird that the Knights selected him. Which means Panthers, after it, have the option at this point to dismiss the last pick. I have no reason to think that they are going to, and they are not. They are going to take Linda G. Garcia under their wing, it says, or under their claws, that they say. And that is it for the NBL. Still took for the NBL draft for this year. Still took like 4 hours overall. These videos will be uploaded as they are. And that's it. The season officially starts. Now I'm going to just hide these things now. Full screen. The official season start date. And as I am looking here, the official season start date. Just to check, make sure I have everything correct. Not the drive. Forgot the Google Drive up. The official season start date is 2 weeks from now. Starting on Saturday. Saturday, February 4th is the official season start date. The playoffs officially occur although it's not ensured at this time. The playoffs are supposed to end on June 3rd, but that is not completely decided yet. We don't know what's going on with this. Thank you guys for watching the NBL Draft. I will see you guys in the next video. In the next video about the NBL, we'll be discussing which teams did what, and which team did better, which team did worse. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed the NBL Draft.